So the very first thing you do is you ask the person to take a deep breath. So take a deep breath in and exhale out. Breathing alone is stress reducing. Then you can touch the person in a gentle, firm way and start squeezing these muscles between the shoulders and the neck. They're called trapezius muscles. You don't have to know that. Just squeezing from the neck out towards the shoulders and back towards the neck. Then you can squeeze up the back of the neck where so much tension is stored from driving, in traffic, computer work. And now one more technique. You can use your thumbs and place them near the spine in the back of the neck, and then just lean forward and let your body bring pressure into your thumbs. And this technique actually comes from the shiatsu portion of our training. Pressing into the tense muscles frees up the tension. And once you have made one line along the top of the shoulders here, you can make another one. Breathing yourself, being relaxed yourself is very important, because when you're touching someone, everything you do transfers to the person. Feeling calm inside of you is very important. After that, you can just stroke out from the neck to the shoulders. And then there's one more technique. You can lean with your forearms on your partner's shoulders and use the bones of your forearms to work into the muscles and help them relax. Come a little closer to the neck, do the same thing. And one more time, leaning down on the shoulders, using your forearm to free up this tension. And we end with another squeezing session. Squeezing is actually called petrissage in the Swedish technique. It's part of what you will be learning in Swedish. Squeezing the upper shoulders. Comes very naturally, and often you see yourself doing it when you're having a neck ache or a headache. You do that, and now this portion is warmer and the circulation is flowing better, so that the circulation can go up into the head, because often the blood vessels are restricted and constricted, and a headache comes from that. And now we're ending this little treatment. Smoothing it out, calming the person. Stroking is a very calming thing to do on someone. One more time, asking your partner to take a deep breath and exhale.
This is Josephine, and she's happy to get a face massage. And the first thing you want to do is make sure your partner's comfortable. Comfortable, Josephine? And I'm going to ask you to take a couple deep breaths. Good. Breathe in and out. And you do the same thing. Deep breath. And that gets both of you relaxed to get started. And then very slowly and gradually, softly bring your hands in to the side of the head so you can feel, your partner can feel your touch. And we're going to start by scrubbing the head, and to do that we need to turn the head, so we're going to pick it up very carefully like it was a little baby, and turn it to the side. And they're going to begin vigorously with all 5 fingers to scrub all over this side and the top of the head. And this reduces the tension right away by just moving off a lot of tension that we hold in the head. And you do a nice thorough job, and it's down towards where the hairline is because it's very tight there on the neck. And just a little work on the neck is to reach your hand around and squeeze and knead the tissue from where the hairline is down to the shoulder, and then squeeze into the shoulder, the soft part of the shoulder, because there's a lot of tension there too. So you take a little more time than I'm showing, and then we're going to just slowly turn the head to the other side and going to repeat that, scrubbing the head and get every part, because if it's missed, feels like you missed me. Turn your hand so you can get the sides, the back, the top again. And it's nice also to do some nice long strokes over the hair. We call those dessert strokes. Feels very good and is nurturing. And then let's get a little bit of work on the neck, again starting right where the hairline is and squeezing down using your fingers on the other side, your thumb on the top, and squeezing and softening. Think about softening the tight tissue and work down into the shoulder as well, where there's a lot of tension. And then slowly turning the head back to center. We're going to put a little bit, very little bit of lotion on, because we don't need, only a small amount. And just rub it on the tips of your fingers so you don't get it in the hair in case they're going to go back to work. And then spread it in 3 strokes across the top of the forehead, on the cheekbones coming up towards the temples, and from the middle of the chin following the jawline up again to the temples. And then we're going to do strokes to soften the tissue. Thumbs across the forehead, 1 stroke, and just keep moving from the hairline down to the eyebrows, and your fingers can brace lightly. Feels good to the person. So 1 stroke after another. You can also take all 8 fingers and do little circles that move the skin on top of the muscle underneath. That loosens up tension that can give headaches, and then little strokes with a couple fingers in the temple area. Headaches can start there too. A massage like this can actually help get rid of a headache. Then we're going to work down, we'll work on the cheekbones, so just lightly touch so you can feel it curves around up towards the temple. So take your thumbs towards you so you don't touch the eyes, and fingers can brace a little bit, and just a nice firm stroke on the cheekbone, following it up into the temple. And you can do that a couple times. And then even a stroke under the cheekbone. You're going to hug that cheekbone. It'll actually pull up the corners of the mouth, and that feels good to the person too. A couple of strokes. And then we'll move down to the jawline, and you can just take your fingers and maybe just feel where it is first, where the bone is, and then take a couple of fingers and a nice firm stroke following the jaw back to the ears. Now the cheek here in front of the ears and in the jaw here is an area of a lot of tension. It can be very tight or bumpy, and you're going to just take your fingers and soften away the tightness. Think about your fingers just melting away the tension. So some nice circular strokes there. And that brings you to the ears. And the ears have acupressure points for the entire body, so it's good to work them thoroughly. So we're working them simultaneously, both ears, squeezing around the outside with a firm stroke. My fingers are holding underneath, and even getting into the center part, everything but, of course, going in the ear canal. And then we're going to stretch by hooking the thumb and pulling up towards you, hooking the thumb here and pulling down towards the mat or the table, and hooking this way and pulling towards the shoulders. And a nice way to finish that off is to take the heels of your hands, not touching the eyes, and a firm stroke across the forehead and coming down and taking hold of the ears and just squeezing off the ears. And then to finish up, the eyes need some attention too. So we're going to do the owl stroke, which is on the bony orbit around the eyes. So you might want to just touch lightly and see where that is, because you don't want to touch the eyes or the area directly around the eyes. But we're on the bone, and this is a light feather, light stroke. Just following the direction of the eyebrow hairs. And then a nice stroke to add to that is called the raking stroke, where you put all 8 fingers above the eyebrows and just pull firmly back. You may even notice the tracks of my fingers, and it really does a lot towards, again, breaking up the tension in the forehead so the person can relax and perhaps get rid of a headache. And if they don't care if you get lotion or oil in their hair, you can just take your fingers, making sure not to pull the hair down through the hair, because that feels very luxurious and very nice. And then to finish up, just taking your hands and coming in again very slowly and consciously and holding the side of their head and letting them feel the peacefulness of your touch. And then very slowly removing your hands and giving them a moment to just take it all in. Not having to do anything. You don't have to do anything, but just take a deep breath. And you can feel good about having given your partner a lot of relief and some healing with this face massage. So just start by holding the hand gently with your fingers and spreading lotion with your hands. And then take a hold of the hand and stretch it, pulling the hand back towards you, and your fingers are pulling from underneath. And then take your thumbs and with just some little circular strokes over the top of the hand and up to the wrist. And then we're going to do a stroke that starts at the wrist and with both thumbs squeezing down over the webbing. This feels really good. And then come back to the wrist, and with both thumbs you're going to come down around the middle finger. And you can do that a couple of times. And then turn the hand over gently. And again, stretch it by taking a hold of the 2 sides and pulling back. And then we're going to do little circular strokes into the whole palm of the hand, not missing any part. Up to the wrist, and really some pressing in on this pad that's beneath the thumb. And then we'll turn the hand back over. This is very simple massage, but very effective. And we're going to do the fingers. And if you take the finger between your index finger and your thumb, And really squeeze. This can be firm. Down the sides of the finger, and then to get the whole finger, put your thumb on top and your index finger underneath, and firmly squeezing down again, and just hold and give a little tug. Then you go to the next finger, squeezing firmly, and the sides, and then the top and bottom. At the nail, you're going to hold firmly, give a little tug again, and do each finger. Take a little time with it, and nice and firm. It feels really good. Sides, top and bottom, tug, and then you can shift hands so you can do the thumb. Sides, top and bottom. And then just to hold the hand for a moment around the hand itself and then around the fingers is a nice nurturing touch to finish your hand massage.